Hello everybody, good day to you. Welcome back. Glad you guys are here. I know, I'm super glad to be here. This is a 2011 Mazda Rx-8. I believe it has a rotary engine. Customer states loses throttle control while driving, and I believe it has a check engine light. So let's hop on into this here vehicle, and we're gonna take it out for a quick spin. They drove it here, so it stands to reason that I can drive it. So we're gonna take this for a quick spin and see what the dealio is with our loss of throttle control. Beginning engine starting sequence now. Yeah, that definitely kind of sounds like a rotary. She's got 36,697 miles on the odometer, and my customer also stated that another shop told them that they need a PCM. So let me get the seat adjusted, kind of breaking the rules. Working on someone else's car, you gotta move the seat. But I'm kind of tall and I don't fit. And this thing's a little roller skate, kind of like a Miata. It's like it's an updated Miata. That's what we have here. Alrighty, so we have no check engine light. There is a cruise control light on, but I'm just gonna go ahead and turn that off. Cancel off, there we go. So we have no lights on the dash. We'll check it for codes when we get back to the shop, but I'm gonna take it out into the wild, up and over the bridge, give it some throttle, decelerate, and we're gonna see if we get that check engine light code to come on, and perhaps the throttle will stop actuating while we are driving. So let's get to it. Oh yeah, definitely feels like a roller skate, kind of bumpy-ish. It's that sport suspension. All right, little rotary engine, show me what you got. Okay, we have throttle, we have horsepower. It's driving. It's quite a peppy little car, kind of fun to drive. Like I said, updated Miata. Man, I missed it earlier. I didn't have a camera on. I came through this intersection and somebody pulled out to go, and they pulled right out in front of like a Corvette and a pickup truck. And the Corvette ended up over here on the shoulder to go around the car that pulled out in front of them. So yeah, that was a grave error in judgment. So I guess today's driving lesson is don't pull out in front of people, because it might make you get smashed into. Like this truck, for example. I'm not gonna drive out. I could have fit in there. I could have floored it, could have made it, but why risk your life for a couple extra seconds? It's just not worth it. Now, here we go. I have space. We're off. And when I pull out, I always check the mirror to make sure somebody didn't change lanes right behind me, and that will make sure I don't get run into from the backside. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Driving lesson over. It's got good power. Seems to run okay. So we don't have much to go off of regarding an in-your-face kind of symptom. So let's get back to the shop, and I'll plug in the scan tool. We'll look for latent DTCs and then kind of go from there. This thing's kind of vibrating at idle. Feels like there's a bag of hammers in there just kind of flinging around in a circle. Very solid feeling on the motor mounts. Yeah, look at the mirror vibrating. Bzzz. I don't know if that's a motor mount thing or if that's just a rotary thing, or this could be part of our symptom. This might be the throttle control issue, not so certain. Here, let's see what happens when I turn off climate control. Okay, yeah, the vibrations are still there, so it's unaffected by the AC compressor. Maybe a little bit of throttle here, I'll power brake it some. And the vibe went away. So yeah, it's probably just got collapsed motor mounts. I bet they're liquid filled. Green light, you ran your red light, truck. Yeah, off idle, concrete in the road. Off idle, yeah, it's very, very smooth. I imagine it's an engine mount situation. I'll take a look at those two while we're in there. Alrighty, back at the shop. First things first, we're gonna nose it in, grab the scanner, connect to it, start talking to the ECM, and we'll see what our computerizer has to say about this situation. Let's see, Cadillac's occupying a lift. I don't want to steal Dave's lift, so we're just gonna go over here and park it in the big lift for now. should be good. Parking's the auto. We'll leave it running for the time being. Windows down so I don't lock myself out. That happens, it's a real thing. Close the doors with windows up. And then the car automatically locks and then locks you out. That's never good. Okay, scanner Danner coming back in. Let's get this thing connected here. Powering on. Beep. Okay, a little flashlight. Where is my data link connector? There it is. This flashlight turned out to be an invaluable little tool on the end of the scanner. Let's see what we got here. Okay, computerizer is communicating with the vehicle. Satellites are linking up in outer space. Thinking, please wait. Okay, what do we have? 1.3 liter rotary 2011 Mazda Rx-8. That checks out. California emissions. Oh, I don't work on this. Engine. Let's see here. Trouble codes. What do we have? Show me memory codes. Auto running. Yes and yes. Self-test initiated. Blah, blah, blah. P2108. TAC performance. TAC module performance. Throttle actuator control module performance. Okay. Well, let's go over to the computerizer. We'll pull up all data and we're going to find out that code definition and see what the diag tree says about repairing this condition right here. Alrighty, we are in all data. Got the 2011 Rx-8 pulled up, 1.3 liter. I'm going to go to diagnostic trouble codes and we're looking for a P code. It's going to be 2108. So we're going to scroll it down to the 2000s. And 2108, there it is. Here's our diagnostic tree. Let's see what we get. So, throttle actuator control module performance error. So the TAC has an error. Internal communication error. Diag support. This is a continuous monitored. That means PCM is always looking for feedback from the throttle controller. The MIL, malfunction indicator lamp, will illuminate when the PCM detects a malfunction, and it stores the DTC in memory. Okay, so I just checked freeze frame data as per our instructions here. Freeze frame data is stored. Now I know that this code has been replaced once before because in my DTC list it says miles since DTC clear, and it's only been driven like 13 miles in the code reset. But going down through this diag tree, step one, verify the freeze frame data has been recorded, and it has, so we did that. That's a yes. Go to the next step. So it did record. Verify the related repair information availability. Verify related service bulletins and or online repair information. There are no bulletins that are active against this. Is there any repair related information available? No. Go to the next step. Verify troubleshooting of 2108 completed. That's the troubleshooting. Look for bulletins and make sure it's stored freeze frame data. So we verified troubleshooting of 2108. We cleared the codes. That's already been done. Start the engine. Is DTC present? Yes, that's already happened because these codes were just cleared 13 miles ago. So the action to take at this point is replace PCM and go to next step. So we need to replace the PCM. Pretty cut and dry. There's almost no diagnostic work involved with this, except in order to repair the PCM, I need to get the part number off of the PCM, because when I call the PCM rebuilders slash repair people, they're gonna ask for the part number on the unit. So let me get into this engine compartment here. We're gonna dig that ECM out and get the part number. At that point, we can park the car after putting the ECM back so it's drivable. We'll park it and I'll call up the rebuilders and see if they can rebuild it. Where is this ECM? Okay, it's under all this plastic somewhere. All right, well, I have to start with the battery and the engine cover, I suppose. Look at that cute little rotary in there. Yeah, that's the front of it, that's the alternator. And that means the whole engine is like here, super tiny. That's a cute little 1.3 liter. Let's see, here's our battery cover. What are we stuck on? There we go. That's the air box, so it's not in there. I believe our ECM is right here. And we've got one 10mm fastener kind of hanging on to that cover. So here, let's unbolt this fastener here. Nut, unclick. There she is. That's our computerizer. So what we're looking for here is the part number. That's what I need to get a hold of. And I don't see it. Oh, that might be it right there. There we go. Part number retrieval complete. And it's looking like, let's see what we get here. How about a 27900-6634. It could be kilo 4238. 12V, that's 12 volt. That's not what we're looking for. Could be an N3R4, but that's not a part number. So it's either going to be the N3R4 18881 mic or the 27970-6634. That would be our part number. Okay. Well, let me go call the people back, and we're going to see what we want to do here. You know, real quick, I think I'm going to disconnect this and look at the bottom side of it, just to make sure that there's not another hidden part number. Let's pull this bracketry out of the way. And there's 4 fasteners that bolt the CCU down to its, looks like a fuse block or something. Neutral drops on the 1/4 inch. And that's a negative. Hot, 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 hot. A little warm. No wonder it blew up. This thing's like lava scalding hot. Okay. So there's no part numbers on the back, so it's got to be one of those, one of these numbers here on the front. Bolt this thing back down, and then we'll go call the fellas at the rebuilder place. We'll see if they can fix this. And so I don't lose components, I'll just put this bracket back where I found it as well. Because what I'm going to have to do is pull this apart, put it outside, or put the car outside, then pull it apart, and then order the repaired or replacement unit. That's gonna have to be the plan here. Okay, so I want to kind of do something a little fun and change directions. We're gonna actually create a failure in this because I want to illustrate something, or I kind of want to feed off of something that I saw earlier on the internet. I had found a video where people were talking about those headset things, like the Apple people that are walking around with, like, they got this VR headset on their face and they're like running around touching the air. I guess that's supposed to emulate the screens that you can see inside of this virtual reality business. And the video in question, I'll play a clip for you of it in a moment, but the video in question was a technician or some sort of individual who was working on their vehicle, and they had one of those headset things on, and that headset is supposed to revolutionize how we diagnose and repair cars. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to just debunk this right about now. I'm gonna create a failure in this vehicle, okay? We've got a mass airflow sensor that's not all the way connected. See that right there? I'm gonna create codes, I'm gonna create a drivability problem, and I'm gonna create a failure, and we're gonna see if the headset is able to diagnose that particular concern. So let's restart this engine. It's probably gonna give me a check engine light straight away. Yep, and it's gonna give me some codes, okay? So we're gonna go back into this Mazda, into the ECM, and get out of freeze frame data. We're gonna go to codes menu, memory codes, searching for memory codes, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm not hurting anything, but here's what we got. TAC performance, that's the one we saw earlier. Engine air temperature control circuit, or air temp circuit, IAT, and mass airflow circuit low input. So we got a P102 and a P1113, that's what we caused, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pretend I'm the technician that's in that video, and we're gonna look up Mazda And I can't spell MZDA Rx-8, and that's going to be a P. What code was that? How about a P0102? Okay, so we're going to put that in, and oh, P0102. There we go. Mass airflow sensor code. This guy's talking about cleaning a mass airflow. I don't know whose page this is. It's just the first one I found. So now we're watching this video of this guy cleaning a mass airflow sensor. Now this is all in my little VR headset, okay? So now what I can do is I can put that aside, and then we'll open up another menu here. There we go. And I want to find, we'll just pull up some wiring diagrams. That should help us out. So we're in the 2108, and we're gonna go into some wiring diagrams. We're gonna copy exactly what we saw in that little video over there, and we're just going to prove how this is not going to make technicians obsolete. So we're emulating all this cool stuff. So here we go. So now I got my little screen with my YouTube video pulled up, then I got my other little screen over here with all my diagrams and pinout locations and all this cool stuff. But here's the thing, how does those screens over there, somebody's YouTube video and then a diagram, have any idea that that thing's not plugged in all the way? Or furthermore, how does the VR system know that this pin hasn't wiggled its way loose? Or that a rat didn't come in here and chew at that wiring harness over there on the back side? See, all that those little VR things are doing is giving you service data and information inside of your face rather than over there on your screen. So it can tell you where the wires from this are supposed to meet the ECM, and where there's a junction connector somewhere between this ECM and this connector right here. But all this technology and all this this VR is not going to change the fact that you need a skilled technician with the knowledge of how things fail in order to properly diagnose and repair that. And sure, you might be able to have the thing Bluetooth to the car with a little dongle, or with some kind of module that they're gonna make us have, or it's gonna have to be done over the internet. Those VR things might be able to do such things, but what they're not gonna be able to do is actually put your hands on it and know what you're talking about. Furthermore, I think that relying on that kind of technology is actually going to detract and take away people's ability to learn hands-on, because they're gonna become accustomed to that screen thing over your face, and they're never gonna know how to actually put their hands on anything in order to test it, look for it, diagnose it. Additionally, what if I had a lean code and I'm looking for like some kind of a vacuum leak? Well, does that little VR headset tell me how to connect a smoke machine? Does it tell me how to look for leaks? I don't think it does any of that stuff, and I think people are jumping the gun big time and putting all of their money in one basket, not realizing that when you try to apply that to the real world, it actually might not work. So let me close out this YouTube video. Oh, and by the way, YouTube videos are not a diagnostic. That's you watching somebody do the same thing that you're trying to do. That's really all that is. And cars are repaired on an individual basis, not as a whole or as a collective. So unfortunately for the VR people and for the naysayers who say that that technology is going to replace us all, that was almost bad. Gonna scratch the paint, you see that? My thing fell apart. I do not believe that this technology is going to replace anybody. Is it a tool that could be used to help people out? Yes. Is it potentially a good source of information? Well, it's the same information that is accessed differently. No different than if you have text messages on your Apple Watch or on your iPhone or things of that nature. So I'm really not convinced that the VR stuff is really going to change anything, and I'll come over here to this Cadillac to illustrate my point. So let's say I need to go up here and look for a leak. Let's say one of these hydraulic lines right here, like this one. That thing's leaking, but I can't see it. And I've got this headset thing on my face with a $2,000 piece of glass. Well, let's say I'm walking around and I run into this. Bam, just scratched my glass. Or I'm trying to get my head up into this little hole right here, but I have a headset on. How am I supposed to see up there? Does the VR have like X-ray vision? Does it already know? How does the modules in the vehicle communicate something like that let's say they do it wirelessly through the internet. How does that thing communicate the fact that, oh look, there's some kind of an oil leak down here, or there's a coolant leak dripping? Oh, let's see. Oh, there it is. There's some coolant right there. How does the VR know that there's coolant leaking off at the bottom of the bell housing? It does not. The only thing that they're inventing is a way to access information differently. That's all that's happening here. They're not inventing or reinventing the wheel, rather. They're not coming up with a revolutionary concept. It's a very expensive device that you put on top of your head and then use to walk around looking like a cyborg. And realistically, you guys remember when cell phones came out? People were like so stuck in their phones that they're just kind of walking out into traffic and getting run over. These VR things are going to do the exact same thing to us. They're going to have these headsets on our brain, and we're going to walk out in front of trains and get run over. But you know, I'm not dismissing those devices as having some kind of a use. They're definitely plugging us into the matrix a little bit harder, and I do believe that long term folks are gonna, I don't want to be too doom and gloom about it, but it kind of feels like a bad idea. Sort of like implanting microchips into your brain is a bad idea, but it seems to be the progressive way of moving through available technology. Like I said, I don't think we should be doing that, and I don't think that in the long run those things are going to help us diagnose anything. And in fact, they just may take away and subtract from fundamental knowledge, because it's going to give access and direction perhaps to folks that are not ready or do not understand and know how to process that type of information. That's a possibility. So, you know, call me a skeptic or whatever you want. No, I'm not worried about being replaced by VR headsets. It's not going to work that way. You cannot digitize reality and then expect the results that you want. It's just fundamentally not possible. But it could generate sales, because if I were to go to the diag tree for that code, it's going to say, oh, replace the mass airflow, or clean your mass airflow, or do something else with your mass airflow. It's not going to say, oh, make sure that the connector's connected, because those are things that folks usually don't assume are going to be the problem. Loose connections or rub through wires, things that are shorted to ground. There you go, power that down. It's just, I'm not worried about it. And for the folks that think we should be worried about it, that's also what they said when OBD2 came out in 1996. They were saying these little computers are going to replace mechanics. That didn't happen. We just simply use those as a tool to communicate with the vehicle. Unfortunately, the VR headsets are, from what I saw, kind of based on those videos and what it looks like from the user point of view of those, you're just pulling up the internet with a hologram screen, and you're able to wave your arms around in the air all willy-nilly like and interact with your hologram screens. So it's the same information. Now you just have a football helmet on your face in order to view that information. And that will end my soapbox rant of the day. So anyway, I've got no more work to offer on this particular Mazda right here. I've got the information that I need. I had a good opportunity to go off on a little soapbox about augmented reality, and now I just need to get this thing parked, and I'll order, well, I think I'll order or remove this ECM and then send it to have it repaired. I'm not sure what the ECM people are going to want to do, but I will definitely circle back to this video later on once I have some direction. Up until that point, and well, at this point, I have nothing more to offer on this particular video. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this one out right now. I will do such things as always by thanking each and every one of you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about my little virtual reality rant in the comment section down below. Do not forget to tap that like button while you're down there. And most importantly, have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. End of video, end of Mazda, end of rant, end of diag, ending of transmission. Windows up, doors unlocked, parking's the auto, powering down. Pew.